So this next video is in basically me talking about the aspects of another video that I seen on the internet. I'm not gonna hold you. It was kind of, I'm not sure how to think about it. I'm not gonna hold you. This is like one of those videos where I just talk to the camera, and like I said before, I may change my views on it later on in the future, but this is just how I'm feeling about it as of this currently, and it's been my thoughts on it for a minute. Now, I'm in the South. I'm a young man, 35-year-old man in the South. I understand how racism works clearly. And I also understand how racial ambiguity, I think, ambiguity, works as well. And the privilege of fairer skinned, lighter people. I get it. There are some lighter skinned people that just don't believe that they have some type of privilege of being light skinned. That's your own. Hey, if you don't believe that there's no such thing as racism, I wouldn't expect you to believe that there's such thing as a lighter skin privilege. It's just not all. It's not always like that. But I digress. Some people just really don't want to believe that there is such thing as a privilege of a lighter skinned black person. The reason why I bring that up is because I was watching, once again, this is why I gotta get off the motherfucking internet, touch a little bit of grass. Beautiful woman. Beautiful fucking woman. But it kind of just icky, like, ew, brother, ew. Like, she just turned from beauty to like, ew. You know what I mean? Like, ew. When I seen posts like how, and I don't know how to explain it, but for lack of better words, she spoke on how lighter skinned women don't understand their privilege while exuding light skinned privilege, if that makes any sense. Case in point. So before I even go into all of that, I want to make sure that it's clear, and I know it don't really matter me making this video like right now, right here, because I think that sometimes even when you try to make shit clear, motherfuckers will be still like saying, you didn't mean what you said, and it's like you didn't say what you mean type shit. It's like you can't fucking win on the internet, like even when you have good intentions. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is not to quote unquote shit on light skinned people. It's just the aspect of sometimes I do not think, I don't know why, but I do not think that this woman in particular with this specific story, I don't think that she realized that her privilege being first of all, let's just talk about pretty privilege. You know what I mean? Pretty privilege is the fucking thing. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not the prettiest of niggas, but I have gotten shit from supervisors, managers that basically like me because I look a certain way. You feel me? And I'm just gonna be honest with you. I do acknowledge that. You know what I mean? And then you talk about male privilege. You know what I mean? They talk about the aspect of being a man. There are instances where yes, there is such thing as male privilege. I'm not gonna hold you. Now being black, black male privilege, like don't get me started on the Charlemagne shit. You know what I mean? As much as he and even with his case, you know what I mean? Even with his case, it's kind of like he did have some people and some connects to get him out of certain sticky situations. If you know his background. It ain't pretty. But to go back to this case about this young lady, that's why another reason why I didn't post her, because it's like it's not really about her, more so about the situation and me just thinking about it all together. But yes, just not acknowledging the fact that she's married. Well, excuse me, she's not married. She has a fiance, so she's soon to be married. You know what I mean? She's been able to go to college, a law school at that, and it seems to be a reputable law school. I want to say. I don't think she called them out because they could probably sue her ass. You feel me? Because she was going to law school. The aspect of her education, her background, she knows what the fuck she's talking about. And with all of that being said, she's still, it's like the Beyonce, all my single ladies while she's not single. You understand what you see where I'm getting at? That's where I'm trying to come at with this conversation. I don't want y'all thinking that I'm just shitting on all light-skinned people. I'm just saying if you acknowledge the fact that you have privilege, you actually exercise your privilege, but then you go on to say shit. First of all, you go on to say that you call out the other light-skinned people that are privileged and how they don't acknowledge their privilege, but then you do things that exude your own privilege. You know what I mean? Case in point, the thing that pops up in my head, first thing that pops up in my head that really just gave me sticky, icky vibes is maybe I need to be corrected in this situation and maybe I need some help. I wouldn't mind it. But I just don't think that lighter skinned women, not saying that they don't get sexually harassed or don't get sexually assaulted in general. I just, I do think that a lot of darker skinned women get sexually harassed and sexually assaulted at a higher rate, and not just that, but the case in which people care about their cases. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Pretty privilege plays a part in that. We're just gonna keep it a buck. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, and then I've even seen the opposite as well. I'm not gonna hold you. I've seen, and that's the weird part about this. I don't think that black people talk about this enough, but I've seen the opposite as well, where there's black women that will only care about darker skinned black women. You see what I mean? Like it's a confusing. It's very convoluted. It's very, it's like an Ouroboros. You know what I mean? It eats itself. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just call it what it is, and this video is gonna be based off of this. She spoke on the aspect of the white gaze, basically black people doing things for the white gaze and moving for the white gaze, meaning the white vision, like how white people see us. We literally change how we act as black people because we don't want to be looked at as a nigga. Call it what it is. Some black people do have to, and this is often this is based on survival. Let's just keep it a buck. This is, and I'll even show grace to the motherfuckers, the academics, the black academics. Why I show grace is because this black woman herself, although she was saying things that I don't agree with, she was a black academic. She's pursuing law, not sure in what ways, but she is pursuing law. And again, she would state how she was being suspended and she was in spaces where basically she said something to the extent of she was taking a racial law class and she stated how racism shows up in certain situations, and there was a white woman in her presence and the white woman cried and she was almost suspended. I think she was suspended because of that. I don't know the context. I was not there. I don't know how she showed up as a black woman in that space. I'm fighting for you, sister. But at the same time, if you want some bullshit, I'm going to put this motherfucking fist down. I'm going to just keep it a buck. Because sometimes people, specifically black people, will somehow justify their horrible behavior and horrible decisions. Like, case in point. When you remember the whole Black Lives Matter situation, right? And I think a couple of years after all of that, it was this one black lady that literally stole Target products and said that she is justified because her being black and the person in Target that owns Target is white and it's mostly white people there, and this is basically her reparations. I seen Aber and Preach post that shit. Sometimes you gotta like, what the fuck? Sometimes you gotta be like, what, how did you still going to jail? Let's just keep it, like, let's just call it what it is. You're going to jail. But to do those type of things and justify it because you're black, you understand what I mean? Like, that's when I understand how it can go. When you say left leaning, that shit goes into left hell. Cause it's like, why are you stealing and saying that this is your reparations? I get it. Black, blackity black. I'm black, y'all. I get it. But you're stealing. And when you're surprised that you're stealing, you also are putting yourself, especially as a black woman, as a darker skinned black woman, but as a black woman, you're putting yourself at risk. Speaking on skin color, that's another topic I wanted to speak on. Now, first thing is first, the hypocrisy of wokeness. I wanted to explore how some light-skinned black folks, especially from academia or certain political spaces, claim blackness as a way to separate themselves from other people who share similar features. You understand what I mean? Speaking of the young lady in question, because she would claim being black and woke, for lack of better words, black and y'all lighter skinned black folks need to do this, this, and this, but you would still do things that were, you know what I mean? Like, but I digress. They claim blackness as a way to separate themselves from other people who share similar features, how they hold up their political intellect as a reason to elevate themselves, but simultaneously disown others who might share that same racial privilege. So the reason why I say that is because she did exactly that in a lot of her videos, where she would hold up the fact that I knew this, 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 and this, and at the same time excommunicate herself with, I'm not like them. You know what I mean? And that's cool. I'm not saying that you have to commune with motherfuckers that's probably backstabbers. Hey, I understand. But let's be clear, you do play a part in the same bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. This is what you've shown. The reason why I say that is because she did, as a lighter skinned, fair light skinned woman, beautiful. I'm gonna keep it a buck. She's beautiful. She's fucking gorgeous. She's thick as hell. But she was speaking on one subject that just really I didn't understand it. And she spoke on slut shaming. She also spoke on the patriarchy. You know what I mean? Men. You know what I mean? She also spoke on the aspects of, women needing to know the political identity of those men in question. You know what I mean? Not those men, but just men in general. You know what I mean? And mind you, she's good. She's about to get married. She's taking a course in law. I'm not sure if she graduated, but she probably is going to go into law. She's got a Substack. You understand what I mean? She's doing the damn thing. Pretty privilege is a thing too, love. I'm gonna keep it up. I'm gonna be the nigga to say it. Pretty privilege is a thing. In America, you lighter skin, you know what I mean? You pretty, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I'm a man. Her men. I get it, women. Specifically black women. But I don't think that lighter skinned black women don't realize how harmful they can be in their examination of other black women. I say other, I mean darker skin, or at the very least darker skin than theirs. I don't have the stats. I don't. I just do know that when it comes to pretty privilege, one, when it comes to lighter skin privilege, two, when it comes to educational academia privilege, I don't know how to explain it, but y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. When you have the ability to have the know with all, you know what I mean? The ability to verbally communicate the right way, know the ins and outs of the law system. Education is a privilege. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Yes, you can learn shit on Google, but to have a phone, it costs like $1,000 now. I get it. There are cases where you can get a phone for $200 to $300. I get it. But still, internet, data plans is a privilege. I know y'all don't want to believe that there's people living in third world communities within this first world country. But if you're black and you don't believe that, you do realize that you're part of the problem. You know what I mean? So, again, to go back to the situation at hand, I want to discuss the reality that while light-skinned or racially ambiguous women might experience privilege in terms of societal beauty standards, this does not make them immune to sexual assault or harassment. I understand that. But the reason why I had to commingle these things, for lack of better words, I don't know what the word, I probably used that word wrong. But light-skinned women may experience social privilege in certain contexts like media or academia, but are still subject to objectification, hypersexualization, and violence in other spaces. You understand what I mean? But in this topic, whether light-skinned women are statistically less likely to experience sexual assault or harassment than darker-skinned women, I can't discuss that. I mean, but yeah, I wanted to go into the details about. I wanted to go into details with studies and articles done about basically lighter skin versus darker skin when it comes to, first of all, intimate partner violence, and I also wanted to do due diligence on lighter skin, specifically black women. You understand what I mean? When it comes to not just inter partner IPV, but also just random ass acts of violence. You know what I mean? Proximity violence. You know what I mean? You in the hood and you may be harmed by black men. You know what I mean? I wanted to speak on that because I think that that has a part to play in. But the thing about it is, there's not enough information out there because nobody really cares enough to try to do this separating and, you know, differentiating, because black people do have to wear all the hats. You know what I mean? Like, one hat has to basically accommodate all people. It's like, it is what it is, man. It is what it fucking is. But to go back to the question at hand, yeah, I don't think that she, particularly this young lady, did not realize that her part that she plays in her own aspects of how she views the disconnect between theory and reality, how privileged light-skinned women teach freedom to those who aren't safe. I don't think that she realized that she plays a part in harmful rhetoric towards black women. Yes, you are educated and it's good to educate your sisters. But when you talk about aspects of sexual freedom, when you talk about aspects of you can wear whatever the fuck you want, when you talk about, you know what I mean? Like, when you don't know how this shit get, you know, motherfucker, I remember talking to this young lady and we was in the talking stage, you know what I mean? Beautiful young lady, you know what I mean? But she is into content creation. I'm gonna just call it that. You know what I mean? I understand how her distrust of men. Although I want to say I understand, I don't understand, if you distrust men, how can you trust men? And not just that, but if you distrust men, you go into a content creation that's specifically dedicated towards men who are not of sound mind, for lack of better words. You know what I mean? Because they're only there because they want sexual objectification of you. I guess you have to literally put that in the back of your head as you're doing the content creation. You know what I mean? Me, as a person that draws not safe for work art, I can literally say that this is something other than me. This is art that's not me actually spreading my ass open. You know what I mean? For them, that's them. You know what I mean? That's them. So that compartmentalize of, you know, freedom of being able to dress however you want within any space in the world. I think that any woman that teaches that, specifically when I see other black women, and specifically when I see smarter black women, specifically when I see lighter skinned black women, specifically when I see smart, black, lighter skinned, pretty privileged black women, say to all women, specifically all black women, that you could wear whatever you want. You know what I mean? I think that that's a disservice to them. I do. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I think that that's a disservice to specifically darker skinned black women, specifically darker skinned black women that don't have as much education as that woman, specifically darker skinned black women that don't have as much education and are not living in the same protected, predominant. They don't have the same resources. They don't have the same spaces, safe spaces to go to. You understand what I mean? Healthcare. We can talk about all these things. Just because you have that privilege, love. Just because you have that privilege and you want all your sisters to be able to, you know, the sister code. I get it. The womanhood. I get it. You are putting other women at risk. as much as y'all say the bear, y'all would choose the bear. Why would you say, if you choose the bear, why would you then say to all women, you should be able to dress however you want? But you said that you would choose the bear. That means all men are horrible. So why, when all men are horrible, do you say that you should be able to do whatever you want, wear whatever you want? And it's like, that's dangerous. Yes, I get the other side. Men should be better men. Men should be better men. But the world that we live in is not perfect. And I know that a lot of women want men to be perfect when they themselves are not even perfect as well. But that's another video for another time. It is what it is, I guess. All right, so another topic I wanted to speak on. And I'm not saying that she did this, but it's like, it's inadvertently done. You know what I mean? Kind of like the same thing that they say that even though men don't say this, it's inadvertently done. I think that the same thing goes with a lot of women, and they don't want to talk about this shit. You understand what I mean? But the role of light skin privilege in shaping how we view victimhood and safety. I wanted to discuss how light skin privilege impacts the conversation around sexual assault and harassment. Lighter skinned women might be more socially accepted and viewed as less threatening or more desirable, which could often afford them a degree of protection. A degree, because you're still black. You're still a black woman. But on the other hand, darker skinned women are often seen as more disposable and more vulnerable. Going back to what I said, they don't have the resources. They don't have the safe spaces a lot of the times. They're not given the ability to be like, oh, yeah, she's beautiful because of, this, and this. You know what I mean? Like, and yes, I get it. There are some beautiful black women, but let's keep it a buck. There is darker skin and lighter skin type of thing. We see it done with black men with black men, where women will choose the lighter skinned men just off of preference. Women will choose the darker skinned men. Oh, he's more masculine and he's more tough. What? I mean, like, that shit never understood that shit either. Because don't get it twisted. There's some niggas that will fuck you up and they light skin. You understand what I mean? And there's some niggas that's dark skin and they wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. You feel me? Like, but I digress. It is what it is. This difference shapes how sexual assault is perceived in these communities. I wanted to include some statistics, but there's really not enough statistics, because a lot of the statistics, especially I think CDC took theirs down, page no longer found. I don't know how you just take down actual statistics, but I guess that even if you update them, then yeah, you'd probably be new. But yeah, there's certain cases where they'll talk about racially ambiguous women, but it will be racially ambiguous women that are not black. It will be like darker skinned women that are not black. It will be like darker skinned Southeast Asian, South Asian women. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. It's not that I don't care, but that's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for. So a lot of the times when they show people of color, this is why I hate the term people of color, because when we're looking for actual facts that speak on black people, we're lumped into people of color. And you have to separate. You have to literally differentiate what exact class and group and, specific designations for specific certain topics. But the harm of telling vulnerable women to just be free when it comes to their sexual expression without acknowledging their safety concerns is dangerous rhetoric. And again, I see a lot of women, specifically black women, that are in higher spaces, have a great background in education, like they would go toe to toe with motherfucking, what's his name, that the judge, if the glove don't fit, then you must acquit. What's his name? Johnny Cochran? I think that's the name. But they would go toe to toe with that nigga. You feel me? They are smart as fuck. They don't have, like, all black women don't have those resources, don't have the academia, don't have the pretty privilege. But you're telling that all women, you know what I mean? It's like the all women should be in this bubble. And it's like, that's not the case. It's not. We see what men. All men aren't good men. All men aren't bad men either. But all men are not good men. I'm a man. I'm telling you straight up. It is what it is. All women are not good women. All women are not bad women, but all women are not good women. But I digress. Focus on the harm. I want to focus on the harm that's done when women, particularly those who have the protection of wealth or status, tell other women to freely embrace their sexuality without addressing the real safety concerns of women who don't have those same privileges. You understand what I mean? Don't have the backgrounds of being able to figure out, okay, how do I look up this man's in the system to make sure that if he has any charges against him, sexual assault charges in the past, or any type of IPV in the past. That's resources. That's a privilege. I'm not gonna hold you. That is a privilege because some people don't even know to do that shit, or don't even care to do it. Let's just keep it a buck. Aspects of, let's figure out the family aspect. Do I have a good family to protect me just in case this nigga, if I go out to on a date with this nigga, I got somebody that I can, like, not somebody, but a group of people that I can let them know, hey, this is where I'm going. If anything goes left, this is where I was last at. That's a privilege. That's a privilege. To have protection is a privilege. Even if it is with other women, it's still a privilege. I just don't think that's acknowledged a lot. But for an example, darker skinned women who work in lower income jobs or don't have the connections to powerful men are more vulnerable to harassment and assault. Now, we're going to talk about the aspect of who work in lower income jobs or don't have the connections to powerful men. That's black life. Even other men don't got powerful connections. You see what I mean? Like, yes, there's niggas that's cool with niggas, but it's like, that's not always a given. There's not always a given. By promoting a narrative of freedom without acknowledging the risks these women face, you potentially putting them in a more dangerous position. This could be tied into, how the patriarchy still affects these women differently, and how some voices fail to acknowledge that gap. Now, as much as I don't say the patriarchy, I think that that's more so dealing with white spaces, but let's keep it a buck. Even a lot of the times within those white spaces, those women that are on those high horses have the patriarchy to compete with. You know what I mean? The privilege. I'm not gonna hold you. As crazy as it sounds, to even have that access to that patriarchy is a privilege. Even to be able to talk with that patriarchy, that access, is a privilege. Yes, you may not like the fact that who it's coming from, but they have power. Patriarchy is power. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. And a lot of times when we hear a lot of, I think that this ties into it, where we hear a lot of black women say how they'll do this, and this for a job. Patriarchy, because most jobs that they're applying for are major companies. Patriarchy. They'll do this, and this for a job. They'll do this, and this for education purpose. Once again, talk about education, schools. Schools are run by, once again, patriarchy. Not black men specifically. I'm talking about white patriarchy. Most of the times in these establishments, in these workplaces, in the companies, it's owned by white people. Even if it is a black face, aka Diddy behind the fucking vodka, but realizing that Diddy's vodka company was a fucking subsidiary of a major conglomerate behind the Russian mob. White patriarchy. I'm just calling it what it is. But I think that people don't acknowledge that fact, that even that access or that ability to talk to those peoples in those spaces is a privilege. You understand what I mean? And I know it's disgusting saying it, speaking on that shit, but it is what it is. All right, so I said, men are not the sole problem. As much as, women say that, I don't believe that men are the sole problem. Acknowledging the systemic issues that affect black women differently based on the skin tone. I wanted to focus on the broader systemic issues that affect black women of different skin tones. It's not just about men being the monsters or patriarchy as the root of all harm. It's about how societal structures, including economic inequalities, racism, colorism, lack of resources, affect women differently based on their skin tone. A lighter skinned woman, especially from a certain social class, may not face the same threats or limitations as a darker skinned woman in a different economic bracket, making it crucial to speak on systemic issues that's at play. So as much as I see, like I said before, I'm tying this all back into the lighter skinned woman saying these things about the patriarchy and saying these things about how you should be able to show up in the world and be able to be, he shouldn't tell you how you should show up in the world. Cool. I mean, I have no problem with a fucking random ass man saying it being wrong in his view on what you should wear. What I'm saying to you as a woman, saying that she can just wear anything is also, it's just the extreme opposite of the other fucking coin. You know what I mean? Basically, it's not enough. It's not enough. Oh, I say all to say, protect yourselves, man. Protect yourselves. That's all I got to say, man. Protect yourselves, because it's like, it's a lot of bullshit out there. And specifically to black women, be careful on who you're getting your quote unquote girls information, because I'm sure that even our black women have come into content where, you know, them being a girl algorithm is going to show you girl content, and a lot of the girl content, even though you may feel you know, a correlation, to say it for lack of better words, even though you may feel correlation because they're black or because they're a person of color or just because they're a fucking woman, you know what I mean, that does not equate to causation. That may be just something that they went through personally, and we don't even want to talk about how they went to. We talk about, you know, situations where there's nuance in certain situations. There's sometimes a lot of the situations be extremes. They do. And some people don't be calling out the extremes. I say some people, but the girls don't be calling out the extremes on certain shit. You know what I mean? And that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Don't call out the shit. You know what I mean? Don't call out the bullshit. But when you come into men's spaces and you see men not calling other men out, don't tell them not to call it out either when y'all not standing on the same business. It's like, again, adults being adults. Adults teaching safety to other adults. Yes, I get it. There are men that are horrible. Yes, I get it. But to then tell me as a man that I'm horrible, I'm a horrible person, and I'm a part of the patriarchy, but then you tell women, you can do whatever you want, girl. Just do what you want, you know, wear what you want, say what you want, you know what I mean? Express yourselves. If you're mad, put your hands on that nigga, because he deserve it. There's some women that's saying that. You need to get the two-piece from these women. There's some women that's saying, I beat niggas. And there's some women that literally do that, and you know what I mean? But I digress. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to get that shit off my chest. I be talking. I know. Unk talk. Unk be talking. Unk talk. I need to put that on this. That's gonna be the name of this. Unk talk. Unk talk 1-on-1. I used to be mad at the word unk, but it's like I ain't mad at it no more. It is what it is. I'm unk, man. I'm unk with no children and no nieces and nephews. And when I get them little motherfuckers, I ain't gonna hold you. If they mama on some bullshit, I'm just keeping a buck because I know how my sisters act. I do. I had to check them a couple of times and just like let them know that what they're doing is dangerous. And they're not only putting themselves at risk, but they're putting the whole family at risk. You know what I mean? They're putting the household at risk because of their bad behaviors. And when you put the whole household at risk, now we got to treat your ass like Noah's Ark. Get your ass off the boat. I'm sorry, I'm one of them niggas. Get your ass off the boat. You gonna fuck up, you gonna sabotage the whole boat? Get your ass off the boat, bro. You clearly don't care. And if you don't care, hey, I gotta do what I gotta do. But like that being said, comment, like, subscribe, all that good shit. And like that, we gon' bunkai.